Welcome to Prime Sports with me, Razak Musbao. And tonight, the Ghana Football Association have announced a roadmap to have the next Black Stars coached, and in so doing, have named a 5-member committee, search committee, to evaluate and recommend a candidate to the Executive Council for approval. Now, this is after Chris Hughton was relieved of his duties as coach of the Black Stars on Tuesday. The search committee will be chaired by the Vice President of the Ghana Football Association, Mark Addo. The committee will also include Ghana football legend and former Kumasi Asante Kotoko player Opoku Inti. Legal practitioner Ace Ankoma will also be on that committee. And the Director of Coaching at the Ghana Football Association, Professor Joseph Kwame Minta, will also be on that committee, along with the Chief Director of the Ministry of Youth and Sports, William Kaiser Kate. Now, the committee, we understand, has been given 3 weeks to find the replacement for Chris Hughton and report to the Executive Council of the Association. Now, a detailed job description for the head coach position of the Black Stars, we understand, will soon be announced. However, an abbreviated versions of the criteria for the selection of the next coach has been disclosed, and it includes that the potential head coach should be a proven winner in coaching top men's national team or football club. It must have a football philosophy that aligns or complements the Ghana Football Association's DNA. It must hold the highest football licenses in the world with over 15 years coaching experience. It must also have a proven track record in team reconstruction, organization, and development of young talent. And finally, it must be a proven disciplinarian, a tactician, and must have leadership skills. Now, we'll be joined by former Ghana Football International Augustine Ahenfo and sports journalist Jerome Ochre for some insights on this latest development as far as the Black Stars coaching job is concerned. But already there have been some individuals who have been put in the media space and have been discussed as possible replacement for Chris Hughton. Now, among them include Jose Mourinho, who was sacked by AS Roma most recently. Then there is Hervé Renard, a former AFCON winner, won the AFCON with Zambia and also won it with Ivory Coast, and currently the women's national team coach for France. And there is Tom Saintfiet, who is the recent coach for Gambia. He resigned after Gambia failed to progress from the group stages of the tournament. And there is Kumasi Asante Kotoko head coach Prosper Nate Ogum, all being discussed in the media space as possible replacement for coach Chris Hughton. Well, sports journalist Jerome Ochre joins me now for some insights into this latest development, particularly if this is the first approach, the Ghana Football Association should be undertaken in resolving the issues relative to Ghana football. Jerome, thank you so much for making time. And let me just mention that congratulations to you on your graduation. And let me just get the ball rolling too. First of all, what do you make of this directive by the Ghana Football Association, setting up a 5-member committee to find replacement for Chris Hughton? Should this be the way to go after the Black Stars humiliation in Cote d'Ivoire?
Well, in their minds, they believe that's the way to go. But if you've been gauging the public reaction and also what is coming from journalists across the nation, you clearly see that this approach is not anything that the public believes will change anything. And I'm also with the public and fellow media colleagues that I think this is just a rehash of the old strategies of solving the problems of the Black Stars. And I do not see what this is going to lead. I don't want to cast doom over what they are going to do, but I'm not so convinced that it will make any significant changes in what we want to see of the Black Stars coaching issues.
But I mean, Jerome, just a closer look at the individuals who've been tasked to find a new coach. I see loyal legal practitioner is Ankoma in there. And of course, Opoku, one man you're very familiar with. Then there is the chief director of the Ministry of Youth and Sports, understandably representing the Ministry of Youth and Sports there. And there is the director of coaching, coach education at the Ghana Football Association. And there is a vice president of Mark Ado. From where you sit, though, are these people good enough for that search?
Well, it will be unfair to say that they are not good enough, because here we are looking at individuals, and given the caliber of personalities I have seen on the list, I mean, I know Makado, he's the vice president of the FA. I know lawyer Ace Ankoma. I don't know him personally, but I mean, I know he's one brilliant legal person. I know Professor Minta in the football circles. I've worked with Opokunti before. I don't know Mr. William Caesar, but then, it would be unfair and even bad on my part to cast any doubt over the competence of the people that have been selected to search for a new coach. I don't think this is about their personalities or their various competencies. It is basically the fact that what they are going to look for is not what is going to offer the solutions to the problems of the Black Stars. Where I sit, I see the problems of the Black Stars to be purely one of management and not necessarily a coaching problem, even though I'm first to admit that Chris Hughton let us down. And take it from me, even if the best coach in the world is appointed to handle the Black Stars, it is not going to solve the problems some of us have seen with management of the team. There are fundamental issues of management that are not being properly addressed. And I don't see how a third party going for a coach will fix those fundamental problems. Let me give you one example. We have a team that, for example, were supposed to have a pre-tournament camp. So before we went to the AFCON, we were supposed to have camping. Now, managers of the team could not predict, could not tell that the public were going to reject any attempt to take the team to South Africa at this time. And in their eyes, there were no better options in the country to camp the team. Yet you have a Namibian team far away in Windhoek, their capital, deciding to camp in Ghana, finding a facility to train, and then finding a place to sleep. And here we were, the Namibians came here, camped here, they are in Ivory Coast. As we speak, they are into the next round of the competition. And we, who claim to be the best on the continent, or even better than Namibia, are out of the competition. And we're not just out. We are just following a trail of failures in terms of AFCON appearances in the last 2 years. And I'm saying that a coach will not fix the management problems of the team. A coach will come and perhaps find a good playing attitude for the players, or would come with tactics and stuff like that will change the performance of the team. But there are fundamental issues of management, and that is not going to change if we behave like merely appointing a coach is what will solve the problems of the team. I don't see it that way. We need to look at proper team culture, proper team attitude, what I see of the team, I do not see that in camp. And I'm telling you that bring in the best coach and the problems will be there. The FA is just choosing the easier option. And look, I don't have confidence in what they are going to do, but I would rather wait and see what the outcome will be, so that if you are saying anything, you are speaking on the basis of what has happened and not merely speculating.
Jerome, I think one other issue that has come up, I'm sure it might even feature when the new coach is appointed, at the current crop of Black Star players, and it's been caused that some of them should be, a goodbye should be said to them. I mean, from where you are, from where you sit, though, how do you see the future of the Black Stars, current Black Star squad? Do you think, yes, it's time for some players to bid farewell to the senior national team and possibly time to start all over again with the young talent in the team?
We will have to find out who is making that determination. Yes, I think there are some players who might say goodbye to the team in the not too distant future. Somebody like Dede Ayew has been with the team for a long time. He's not had playing time where he plays in France, and probably that's why we haven't seen any good performances of him as we know of the previous form he had. So yes, there might be one or two players, but who is going to make those? That determination, and on what basis would that determination be made? You see, this is why I believe that the approach we are taking is not going to solve the problem, because even player attitude in camp. How does a coach comes in and gets to fix that all of a sudden? I have a difficulty in accepting the way our senior national team is being run. I don't know why we have chosen this path of doing things, because from all we have seen in the last 4 years, we are not doing the right things. And we know what the right things are. Yet, I don't know why we are not going in straight ahead or head on to do what we know to be right. If you were talking about players. The last time we had Sike Akono as coach of the Black Stars, what is it that we didn't hear? We heard of player impositions on the coach. In fact, we learned of a manipulation of the coach. And these were things that the coach himself denied, only for him to leave the job. And on your network, he later confessed to not having the freedom to select players. Is that going to change as a new coach is being looked for? That is an issue that we will have to talk about. Selection of players. To be fair, until Chris Hughton came, almost every Black Stars selection was rejected by the public. And you see, sometimes when we mention the public, they make it look like the public has no say. But football cannot be played without the public. You need the fans to always.
So we seem to have lost Jerome Autry momentarily over there. But like we mentioned earlier, a 5-member committee have been set up by the Ghana Football Association to find a replacement for Chris Hughton. And among them include the Vice President of the Ghana Football Association, legal practitioner, lawyer Ace Ankoma, and the coach education director at the Ghana Football Association, Professor Joseph Kwame Minta. And Ghana football legend himself, Opoku Nti, is also in that committee, along with William Caesar Kate, who is the chief director at the Ministry of Youth and Sports. And when you consider closely the criteria that has been given to them to use as a framework for selecting a new coach for the senior national team, it speaks about one who should be a proven winner in coaching top men's national team or club football. Very important. And it's also stated that the person must have a football philosophy that aligns or complements with the DNA of Ghana football. The person must also hold the highest football license in the world with over 15 years coaching experience. And says the person must have proven track record in team reconstruction, organization, and development of young talent. Person must also be a proven disciplinarian, a tactician, and must have some leadership skills. I must have some leadership skills. Well, so those are the criteria that have been outlined by the Ghana Football Association, and these are the people, individuals who are in the public domain, been discussed, the potential replacement: Jose Mourinho, Hervé Renard, Tom Saintfiet, and Prosper Nate Ogum. We'll try and explore this further after this very quick break. Welcome back. Now, Jerome Autry, we lost you just a bit, but thankfully you are back. Jerome, let's just touch briefly on the individuals who are in the public domain and being discussed as individuals that the Ghana Football Association should consider. I'm sure you've seen some of them. Popular on the list is Jose Mourinho. Of course, he makes Ghana Football Association very ambitious to try and get Jose Mourinho, but he is available at the moment. And Hervé Renard, a proven individual on the African continent, won the AFCON twice with Zambia and with Ivory Coast, and Tom Saintfiet. And he is one individual whom people are also tipping because of his exploits with the Gambian national team. And of course, your man, Prosper Nate Ogum, if there is a need to look local for a replacement of Chris Hughton.
Well, there's always going to be a need to look for a local coach for the Black Stars, because you see, everything we say, it will come down to whether we can afford to pay for the salaries of some of these coaches. And I do not want to go there, because the names you have mentioned, perhaps apart from the Gambian coach, I mean, the former Gambian coach,
yeah,
I do not see Mourinho or Reina coming down here, because from all I know, we cannot afford, we cannot pay. How much was Chris Hughton paid? I don't know. But I know his other coaches, the other coaches that were there before him, none took more than $50,000.
Yeah.
And I'm very sure Chris might have taken less than $50,000. And the coaches you are mentioning, you are mentioning, unless they are going to put money aside and chase ambition, or the fact that it is Ghana and they want to come and see what they can do here, money is going to be a chief determinant as to whether or not they will come. And what we are being told, I don't think Ghana can afford any of these coaches.
And of course, you make a point about there is a need to look local. And I mean, that's where the challenge has been. We tried Kwesi Appiah, and it doesn't look like he's one man who might be favored on the corridors of the Ghana Football Association. Maxwell Konedu, another top local coach, might not be favored. But then people will be asking the questions, what options then are there as far as local coaches are concerned if we have to look local?
It is because we have not developed well enough the local breed of coaches we have. It is because those managing our game themselves have no confidence in the local coaches. That is why we might dismiss any potential or any chance the local coaches have to coach the Black Stars. But I tell you, it goes to strengthen some of the arguments some of us have advanced for this rushed decision to get a coach. It's rushed in the sense that, I mean, we just returned from the AFCON. What kind of analysis have we done to even arrive at the decision to look for a new coach? Because see, there were two assistants of Chris Hughton. Is it that the two assistants were also so bad that if we are dispensing with Chris Hughton, we have to also get rid of them? And then you mentioned Kwesi Appiah.
Yeah.
It is interesting that this particular FA don't seem to have any confidence in Kwesi Appiah. But all the 5 coaches they have brought, none has done anything, or none was able to do anything that surpasses anything Chris Hughton has done.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about? It again strengthens the point I made earlier that this FA doesn't seem to be on point with what they are doing with the Black Stars. And I mean, I have said that I think they've lost it. They will need to be sober, do proper soul searching, and look at the real problems undermining national team football in the country, and stop this attitude of feeling bossy and going around the place as if they know everything. Yet, in almost 5 years of their management of the Black Stars, it's been disastrous. I mean, I cannot understand how they don't even see the shame in how they have handled things. You know, we have gone to 2 AFCONs. This is a national team that a few years ago was going to the semi-finals of the AFCON.
Yep.
We've played 2 finals of the AFCON between 2010 and 2015. And today we find ourselves at a position where we cannot even win a game at the AFCON. And people who are in charge of the game somehow feel that they are on top of affairs. They are not on top of affairs. I think that we need to continue pushing them for the best of management, for the best of the best of things, because what they are doing, in my opinion, doesn't inspire any confidence. And we can only hope that things change as they seek to look for remedies. But like I said earlier, the approach they have taken, in my opinion, will not really do us any good. But then we are not God. We don't know the future. We will have to give them the benefit of the doubt in spite of all we have said, and see what will happen as the search party begin their work.
Yes, well, the search party has begun their work, and they have 3 weeks to report to the Executive Council, and the Executive Council will then approve the reports or otherwise, and subsequently move to the Ministry of Youth and Sports for final approval of the coach that they will come up with. Jerome, thank you so much for your time this evening, and of course, we'll continue this conversation as the search party continues their work. Well, that's it for Prime Sports tonight with me, Razak Musbao. Between 10 to 11 p.m., AFCON tonight is on Joy Prime. Do make a date with us. My name is Razak Musbao, and we have more stories on myjoyonline.com.